Hi, I'm Dr. Amanda Nealon from Oceania Scientific Services, and welcome to an introduction to data analyses in R. In today's session, we're going to run a simple script. We'll create a box plot and perform a t-test on it. Today's script will focus on editing a box plot to give you more control on what it may look like. Using the same example as earlier, we'll continue playing with our fish, our blue fish and our silver fish. And we'll have a look at creating a box plot that looks something like this. Last clip we made a data set. Do you remember this script here? We defined y1, a vector, to contain 5 numbers, which would occur between 15 and 25. We created y2, another vector, which contained 5 more numbers between 30 and 42. These represented the lengths of our 2 different fish species. We put them together into a data frame with species name repeated 5 times each and length, the 2 vectors occupying 1 column. And then we produced a simple box plot. You'll notice this box plot, I haven't got a lot of control. I have all black text, black lines, there are no labels given, and there's not a lot of color or choice. Let's have a look at creating a box plot, but having a bit more variation in this. We'll slowly work our way up to have grey box plots, a blue and a grey, and then we can have some fun with other alternative options. Here's a copy of the script we're going to make. What you see in yellow is the part that you're editing. So we're going to edit our length and species fish. We have some different colors, border colors, our various y and x limits. If you need help with making a plot, you can use the help function in your R console. We'll have a look at that as well today. Okay, let's load R. Coming down, hopefully you have an R shortcut now. Okay, so I'm using my script again where I've called it my name. I have the date, March 2019. I'm using hashes to add a little bit of notation to my script, and here is the little data set we created last time. If you haven't got this, take the time now to create this in your R. Visualization. Type the word box plot. We're going to do length predicted by, so there's our tilde, species for the data set called fish. Okay, now as you can see in my environments, I haven't pressed run as yet. So my environments are empty. So let's go back to line 21, press Control Enter, and run each of our lines of script. This will send it down to our console. Make my console a little bit bigger. So when I'm aligned with the word fish, I can press Control Enter, and now we have a data set called fish. There it is. Okay, and now I can run my box plot. Great job. Okay. So this is as far as we got last time. I'm going to show you how to edit this script. You could copy if you like, because this is a working line of script, line 32. Now line 34 is a script we can edit. Add a comma, press Enter. We might first want to affect our X and Y labels. That's through the command X LAB. It means the label of my x-axis. xlab equals, inside of quotation marks, fish species, comma. The Y label, ylab, LAB, equals length in centimeters of my units. Control Enter sends it to the console. There we go. I now have fish species and length. Let's go back inside. Click inside the bracket. Press a comma and Enter. This brings you to a new line. We can now choose the colors. cull is to let you choose the colors, which the box plots will be. C means to catenate, and then inside of quotations we can now assign two different colors. Because it goes blue fish and then silver fish, my first color will be blue or related to the first parameter, blue fish. My second color has to relate to the second fish. I'm going to do light blue, comma. Okay, I'm going to press zoom now to have a look at my plot. Have a look at this. So now we have a blue box plot up here for my blue fish and a silver box plot for my silver fish. Remembering each time you run these, you will get different values because they're random numbers in that range. You can press here to change the sizing and dimensions of your plot. There we go. And when you're ready, you can also export your plot through right-clicking and pressing copy image. Adjust, adjust. Let's press a comma and go to our new line. In our new line, we could define the x and y limits. That's xlim equals c for catenate, from and to, so 0 to 2, ylim catenate, and we might go from 10 on the y-axis up to 50. Control Enter. And we can now see our plot. What you'll notice is that my fish have been moved off to the side, so I can define where they should be positioned using at. So inside my double brackets, comma, enter, at equals catenate, open brackets. I might do 0.5 for the silver fish and 1.5. Oops. 0.5 for the blue fish, 1.5 for the silver. And now they're back in the center. Now, you'll notice the names that have come through are from my R script, which isn't ideal if I'd like to publish this particular figure. Let's define the names, comma, enter. Names equals C, open brackets, and you can now type out with spaces and cap lock as you wish, the names of your two species. Control Enter, and now we have two nice names. Finally, I might like to have a main label, comma, enter, main equals, inside of quotation marks, fish caught at cotton tree. There we go. Now we have a main heading. Let's have a look at this all together. You can adjust your plot, which proportionally will change your fonts. There we go. I now have a nice blue color use for my blue fish and a silver for my silver fish. If you'd like to have a notch in your boxes, we can go inside of the bracket, comma, notch equals true. Let's have a look at this. And now you have this little effect done to your plot. Great. Where the notch is indicating where the mean is. We might not use that. Another option some people like to do is to flip it to horizontal. Horizontal, true. Okay, and now we have this very interesting effect where our silver fish and blue fish are on the y-axis and our lengths are on the x. I would then have to relabel. So change the label names to become Y lab for fish species, X lab for length. Okay, and now we have a flipped box plot with fish species on our y-axis. This isn't as common in science, and it's probably preferred you don't use this particular method. Try to keep your categorical variables on your x-axis and length on your y. And that's because mathematically it makes sense. It makes sense that species could predict length. It doesn't make sense that length would tell you what species it is. So let's change it back again. Put the X lab and Y lab. There we go. And horizontal. We'll remove this particular line of code. Great. The last part you might want to do, I'll just press run. So I highlight the section, control enter, is run a t-test. In analyses, I can type, maybe this will be my output, so just out. I want to assign t.test. This is for independent samples. I'm going to see if there's a significant difference between the blue fish length and the silver fish length. So we're going to do length is predicted, so tilde by species for data equals fish. I then can type in out to see my significance. We have a t-value, a degrees of freedom value, and our p-value. You're also given the 95% confidence interval down here and the means of the two groups. So the mean value is 33 for my blue fish and 21, which is significantly different. Of course, you can use our square notation, there we go, to call on your statistics. So out, open square bracket 1, calls for the variable in the first position, which happens to be the t statistic itself. Alternatively, you could have typed out dollars statistic. There it is. Control enter, and you end up with the same output. We'll talk later about how we could call on these and potentially make them into a vector, which could then be simply exported from R and into your folder for later use when you want to see just the significant outputs. Okay, let's go back to our slides. So as I mentioned, all of this can be found at Oceania Scientific Services. We have slides and R scripts available for download. Our next clip will be going in a bit deeper and we'll be looking at some time series data. I hope you're finding this series very useful and you're enjoying your time learning R.